Hi my friends, welcome back to my channel. I've been a bit quiet over the weekend. It was my mom's birthday and I had a few things going on, but I'm really glad to be back. So today I'm going to be speaking about a very controversial topic. And the reason it's controversial is because many people think the whole UFO society is quite out there and crazy, and this is coming from a very normal person. I want to give you my experience that I had with a UFO, and it wasn't just me, it was my entire family. So I moved back to South Africa. I was living in Thailand for a year. I moved back to South Africa again in November 2012. It's also a really great year, by the way. So 2012, I moved back to South Africa. I just had this burning desire to move back home, and everything was just making me want to leave Thailand and come back to what I believed was home. So I moved back to South Africa and I moved straight in with my boyfriend at the time, is now my husband. And we lived together for quite a few months before we got our own place. And my husband's dad, he's the best in the world. He's amazing. We get on super well as well. I feel like, Bella, sorry. I feel like we pretty much like best friends. So we always used to hear my father-in-law speaking about these things he used to see in the sky. And to be honest, when people mention the word UFO, you think, okay, this person's a bit of a kook. You think they're crazy and, like, just let them go on about whatever they want to. They don't really know what they're talking about. Until one day, I saw it for my own eyes. So what happened was one evening, it was around, I think it was about February, March of 2013. We were all sitting inside watching TV, and my father-in-law and his brother-in-law were sitting outside. And the next minute he was like, Tammy, Chase, come inside. So we quickly outside. We quickly ran outside. And it wasn't just myself and my husband that ran out. It was my sister-in-law as well as my mother-in-law. And it was the five of us, the uncle, his father, and myself, his mom, and his sister. So we were all standing outside, and as we ran outside, there was this humongous, it was, if anyone does know the size of the Glen shopping center in South Africa in Joburg, it was the size of the Glen. It was the size of a shopping center, a very large shopping center. It was about 10 meters up in the air, so it wasn't too high up. And it was, if you had to look up into a clear night sky, Bella, your whiskers. If you had to look up into a clear night sky and see a cloud, it was that transparent, but not transparent material. I really can't explain what it was, but it looked like if you had looked up in the sky and there was it had like the texture, and it looked like a cloud, but it wasn't a cloud. It was a solid form. It had no sound whatsoever. It was a triangle shape, almost like if you can imagine a boomerang. So it went up in a boomerang formation like that. I can draw it in that. Maybe I should just draw it here quickly. It looked like this. That's what it looked like. Okay, all of us saw it. We were drinking coffee. We weren't drinking any alcoholic beverages or anything like that. And the feeling that I personally got when I ran outside, I'm not saying that there were little green aliens flying this ship. What I'm saying is that it was not something that I had ever seen before. And the feeling that I had got once I'd seen it was a very strong feeling. I have not always believed in things like in the supernatural and things that are in the movies, in Hollywood. I do believe that there are a lot of things that they do portray on TV that are very real. Call me a conspiracy theorist, I don't care, because they are all being proven right now. But this world is bigger than what we think it is, and you'll discover it in your own way. So the feeling that I got when I saw this particular craft was, I was super, super excited, but I was super scared at the same time because it's something I had never seen before. It was something that was really different. Okay, so it passed over. It didn't go very fast. It was quite slow. Um, it's traveled over our house. People don't really look outside anymore. And I actually mentioned it on Facebook, and like people obviously didn't comment, or like people must have thought I was a bit crazy, which is fine. I'm a bit crazy because that's just who I am, and I'm freaking awesome. So I don't really care. And it flew over super slowly. We decided we were going to stick around outside for that night as well as a few other nights. We did see another craft, not as big as that. They were two maneuvering in such a way that we can't really explain. They were flying next to each other, and all of a sudden they did like a quick, like 90-degree turn. It was crazy. Like the aerodynamics of these particular crafts was unexplainable. It's quite hard to put into words exactly what we had experienced. So after that, obviously we spent a lot of time outside. I was also having very intense dreams of crafts, and I believe my life pretty much wasn't the same from then on, because once you see something with your own eyes, there is no other way to go back to what you knew before. It's like a spiritual awakening. Bella, sorry, my baby's going a bit crazy, running everywhere. When you experience a spiritual awakening, you cannot go back to what you were once before. You cannot go back to what you believed in or what you saw before that point in time. And that's how I felt. At one point, I think it was a couple weeks days after that, it was only a certain period that we saw a lot of these crafts. My sister-in-law and myself were sitting outside, and we also saw a jellyfish craft. It had the motion of a jellyfish. I would not be making this shit up, because people would honestly be pointing fingers at me and saying that she is a bit of a kook, and that's perfectly fine. I'm telling everyone what I saw with my own eyes, what my entire family saw with their own eyes. So my sister and I was sitting outside, and we saw this jellyfish craft, same material, that transparent but not transparent, no sound whatsoever. We watched it for about a couple minutes, and it had like a jellyfish type motion. It went like this. It looked a bit like a jellyfish as well, and it came across straight over us. It was even lower than the one we had seen before, in my opinion. So for those of you who are very skeptical, start looking up into the sky and start seeing things for yourself. It's very easy for people to point fingers and laugh at these people who see these things when they start talking about it. But when you actually see it for yourself, it's a completely different story. So I just wanted to give a little bit of like what we had seen that night. It was big. It was silent. It was something that we've never seen before. And the feeling that I got from it was that it wasn't from our plane of existence. Take it as you wish, whatever you think. When I'm saying UFO, it's an unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean that there's a green alien flying this craft. It means that it's something that we have not been told about as a society, that is flying in our skies, and we know nothing about it. So start looking up and start taking note of what's around you, because there's more to this world than what you think. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, please share it. I would like to reach as many people as possible. I like to talk about things like the law of attraction, a lot in the esoteric field, and also a bit into like the crazy stuff. So crazy stuff. I think everyone else on this planet is crazy, to be quite honest. I feel quite normal. So if you liked it, go ahead, subscribe, share, and I hope to see you soon. Blessings. Namaste.